Hello, biology students. I've had a couple questions on the plant lab and how to do the um, the graph and maybe even data table. So I did kind of go through this, but just really briefly at the end of the video I did on how to set up the plant lab. So I want to spend a little bit of time just showing you how to do this because this is going to give you a really professional looking report. This is something that you'll have to do in college, so I think it's pretty, you know, this is just a way for to make your report just look incredibly professional. You've done a lot of work, and this, I mean, this has been the longest run of the plant lab I've ever done with starting in the classroom and then doing this distance learning. So it's been a long time since you've been in the classroom already. So anyway, this is different and new for all of us, including me. All right, so I'm in Google Sheets. I'm not in Google Docs because I think this just Google Sheets just lends itself better to those data tables. It's a spreadsheet format, right? So, okay, so here's a couple of tips. So I have all of this. Hopefully you've taken measurements over at least a couple of weeks, and that's all you need is a couple of weeks of data. Some of you had that a long time ago. Some of you had to start over. Some of you are a little short on data and just have to work with what you have. That's totally fine. We're just going to make this work at this point. Um, so even if your data is inconclusive, you just say that it's inconclusive and you can talk about what went wrong in your lab. Like, we had a good start and then we took it home. Life is crazy, forgot to water it and it died, whatever. I mean, just say that, but at least you should have some data because we actually started collecting data in the classroom from almost all of you. All right. So for this to be recognized as data, and I cannot put the date as date format. I really have to say for my dates, I'm really going to start with what day it is. So, and I can't write day in front of each one of them. I need to assign just a numerical value because this is going to be the number of days that you collected data. So I'm going to say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you had at least 2 plants. Some of you had 3, depending upon what you were doing. Then you will have 3 plant growth. So this is going to be my plant. Um, let's say this is my control, plant growth control. I'm going to make this column a little wider just so that it includes that whole title. So you should have had a control and then you should have had an experimental plant. And this is my plant growth. I'm just going to say experimental. I shouldn't capitalize that if I didn't capitalize the other one. Okay, so let's say day 1, I'm just going to make up some data. Oh, I need to also say this is in centimeters, right? Because I don't want to label that in each cell. So again, I'm going to just make this a little wider so that I can see my whole cell. Let's say that then I'm starting to get, I don't know, let's say 0.5, whatever. And then let's say that now it's 1. And then I'm just going to say, I'm just going to make, let's say I have crazy growing grass. I'm going to say my experimental one, and maybe here is where I started applying my variable. So again, I'm going to pretend this is my data. All right, so this is my spread, this is my data table, right? It's super easy in Google Sheets to just highlight this, including the titles. And you'll notice in these columns, I have only numbers. There's no labels, there's no date format, um, because we don't care what time period you ran, like what month you ran this in, or, from March 1st to whatever. We just care about over a period of, let's say, 10 days, how much growth did we have? Um, so I'm going to go up into, I highlighted all of my data, including the title headings. I'm going to insert a chart. There we go. Thought it went away. All right. I'm going to move this out of the way. So you'll notice I have this awesome, it automatically defaulted to a line chart, which awesome, right? Because that makes the most sense for what we're doing here. I can move this around so I can see my data table if I want to. But the other thing that pops up is this whole chart editor part, and this is really important as it's going to allow you to manipulate headings. A good graph, so this is more of a graph, right? A good graph, so we see that this is my day number across the bottom. That's awesome. I could change this to show each day instead of right now it has a number every 2 days, but that's okay. I'm just going to leave that. That's not important. You can see it has a nice lead plant growth of the control is blue. So my control, I can see very quickly, grew better than my experimental one. Maybe I was testing salt water or something like that. There is not a label on the Y or vertical axis. So I need to remember Y goes high to the sky. That's how I always remember that's Y, and the bottom one is X. So I need to label this, and this is why it gives you this pops up, because we do have to go in and label this. I also this title doesn't tell me anything, so I really want to go in. Oh, also if you wanted to. So it would allow you to choose different graphs here, but I like the one that it automatically went to. So actually, I think I could go in. This is fun. Oh no, I want to leave that. I'm going to go into customize, and I like the chart style. I think that default to the line, and hopefully yours did that too. But I do need to change the axis chart and axis titles. So I first want to change my chart title. And maybe for me, so this is what it defaulted to. This doesn't tell me anything. Let's say I'm testing the effects of salt on plant growth. Let's say that is what I was, and yours is what it is. Okay. So you can see that it's popped up here. That's awesome. But remember I said I want to change the Y or the vertical axis title. It has nothing in here, so I'm going to say growth in centimeters. Growth in centimeters, the effects of salt. Perfect. This is perfect. I don't think there's another thing that I would change here. So I'm going to copy this chart, and then I'm going to go in and open a Word doc, which I haven't done. I'm going to pause this really quickly. All right, so I'm going to go into, and I just have a blank. So this is a Google Doc. I'm going to page down a couple spaces just because I know I have a lot of stuff that needs to go before this, and I haven't done any of that yet. And I should just be able to paste this. Please do not link the spreadsheet, because then it doesn't show up in here. We want to paste it unlinked. Otherwise, it'll just paste a link in here, and then when I look at your report, I won't be able to see anything, and I don't want to go to another document. I want this all together. So there's your chart. And I mean, this should be in the data section. The other thing I can do, since I already did a data table, I can copy that too. but I have to insert a data table here. I have to make a data table here first. So my data is 10, actually 11, it's 11 rows, and I think you have to make the data table here first. So I'm going to insert a table, and I know I need 3 columns wide because I need day, experiment, and control, growth. And I said I needed 11 because I need, okay, so I need 3 by 11. There it is. If I go back here and highlight this, I actually already did this, but I'll show you how I did it. So I'm going to highlight this. I can, well, I can write, um, I can right click here. I don't know. I guess I can go up into edit copy. You could do Control C, whatever way you want to do it is fine. And then I'm in this data table. Now I'm going to go up into edit, just regular paste, and boom. Now I have my data table and it's all labeled. I don't have to recreate that. So I think this, it makes it really easy for you to do just really a rock star lab write-up with those tools. So then of course, please do the other parts. You know, we talked about the different parts of the plant lab. But yeah, this is a lot more detail, and so I hope this is helpful for you. Email me with any questions. I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Mondays and Tuesdays tend to be pretty crazy because we're making papers and for students who need paper copies, and it's just really, it's a lot. So, all right, there you go.